Well, good morning from our part of the world in rainy Southern California, where our reservoir is full. It hadn't been full for 25 years, so it got full a couple of years ago, and then it's full again, which is, it's quite wonderful to that basic being able to at least for the next time being, some of our structure is reliable. So that's, with all of the going on. So what I was thinking about today, because it's raining, it always, I always think about permeability with rain. And I've spent a lot of time with our property making sure that the moisture gets received so that when it does rain, it just doesn't run off. And so to just think for a minute of attention and giving and receiving attention, and just check and see when people give you attention, do you absorb it, or does it run off, or does it bounce off, or do you not even know that attention is coming your way because your little receptors are gunked up. So I'd what I think has gunked up our receptors is fear, and that most of us don't even know that we're in fear. And what I wanted to do is to combine loop of awareness with fear melters. So and it doesn't have to be big fear melters, but I'd like you to let yourself play with, like, what's your favorite. I sort of have a little an oozy wiggle is my favorite and easiest entryway. And so when I'm doing an oozy wiggle, how can that permeate my attention? So when I'm giving attention, letting it come with that flow and letting that be received, and then letting it come back to me. When I give attention to me, do I let it be absorbed? Or does it run off or bounce off, or do I go up into my head? And so I wanted to have you simply combine first, since I'm doing a sort of a wiggle ooze, let yourself do your favorite, whether it's rooting, letting the loop come from your feet and letting that come out into the world. It can come from your ears, because like I'm hearing the rain, and letting excuse me, letting that permeate me, and letting that permeate when I'm giving my attention. The flow I feel increased when I'm doing fear melters. So I'd like to invite you to just simply do combining fear melters, and it's particularly the one that you maybe lose, because I think most of us don't do reaching. We don't do love scoops. So you can reach out for attention and then bring it in and actually notice, where does it want to go? Where does it want to land? So I'm getting my thighs. So if you listen, if you sense into, your body can tell you where you're wanting that attention. And so letting that, I'm stroking my thighs. Oh, and it just reminded me, I was telling Gay this morning that just before I woke up, I had a dream of me striding through a meadow with friends. And so that was very exciting. Yes. So like actually walking. And so, I have that little, oh, I'm getting better instead of, oh. So letting the however you want to be receiving that attention, give yourself the time to receive it. Because we also go, oh, I'm doing my loop of awareness, so I'm going to do this, but it doesn't land. So I find that the fear melters, and take the fear melters like oozing, take oozing through a part of your body that you generally don't let ooze, and then letting that oozing go into like an oozy loop of awareness. When you ooze out, where does your attention go? Does it go to a different place? Do you feel it differently? And do you let yourself ooze into wherever you're touching? So when I'm oozing, I have much more of a sense that I'm contacting what I'm looking at. And when I bring oozing back to me, I slow down. So notice when you combine your fear melters with your loop of awareness, it's going to open your perception. I feel my eyes opening more, wiggling, rooting. How can you let rooting be a source of your loop of awareness? So what I'm doing is letting the attention come up from the earth and through me and then out into the world. And then back from the world into me and down into the earth. So that's one way that I'm playing with it. And so when you're combining your loop of awareness with fear melters, it's going to keep energy moving, because my sense is we're I think that I have a sense that the tide has turned here. We're not at maximum, and we're still going to need all of our resources to meet the, what needs to happen and what we're responding to every day. So, and then see if you can do a couple of loop of awareness where you're just letting your body move in some way that feels nourishing, that it doesn't have to be labeled a fear melter. Because when I'm going around in the world, what I notice more than anything else is that people aren't moving as much. They're, pretty much a lot of people are frozen, or a lot of people are in a hopeless collapse. And so just getting a little bit of movement going in your body that feels pleasurable to you, it doesn't have to be a big wild movement, will keep the flow of energy moving in you that will allow you to connect. So this is a great time to go, oh, here are my friends, here are my buddies, here are the people who care about me, and I can care about them. So you can tap into the field here anytime and receive nurturing and communion with all of us. Yeah, so take a moment and notice what has occurred for you at a sensory level from just doing that little bit of loop of awareness. So see some people stretching, see some people yawning. So it's a kind of a like when Allie gets up, and most cats, when they get up, they have a little automatic stretch. So what if when we got up, we had an automatic loop of awareness, just coming through, here I am and here you are. And of course we do that with here I am and I'm so glad. That's one of my favorites. So I love to do that in public too, because nobody does that. Nobody goes, here I am. And then that wouldn't that be great? You could do that with people across the parking lot. I think that would be great for people. You could do a little Kermit and Miss Piggy going toward each other. Here I am, and I'm so glad. So the pattern interrupt of not being polite is one that I really want to recommend to you. And adding in, what I call symptoms of aliveness, and letting other people see you being alive, regardless of what is going on. You're a source of aliveness. So I love that. So for more fun, let's take a look at our card for today. So with the state of the world right now, I thought this is the perfect card. So I'd love for you to combine your fear melters with loop of awareness and be letting yourself travel into the collage and then back into you, and let your body respond to what you're noticing and what you're experiencing. And I'm going to read the sentence on this card, which is called play. I'm open to giving and receiving tosses of love, connection, collaboration, and open-ended exploration. You can add a to all of this too, and letting your body respond. I'm open to giving and receiving tosses of love, connection, collaboration, and open-ended exploration. And I love the little guy's open arms in front of the ocean. Yeah, and all the motion and the tumbling and all of the wonderful primary colors. And here's the question: how can I expand my ability to give and receive love, connection, and collaboration every day? So notice that neither of these say play, but they define play. So giving and receiving love, connection, and collaboration. I love the open-ended exploration. That So when I find the sound is a open-ended exploration too of play. So check out with your body. Are you willing to expand your ability to give and receive love, connection, and collaboration every day? So the intention to play is, I think, pretty radical today. With how can I play my way to solutions? How can I play my way to deeper connection? So I'm planning on a couples course next month, and I was talking to somebody yesterday, and she said, "Oh, I've done so many couples courses," and I went, "Oh gosh, it doesn't sound like they were much fun." The whole attitude that we have to work on it. And if there's something going on, we have to work on it. And that if you're in relationship, which we are all in relationship from the moment of conception until we die, we're in relationship. So would you be willing to have play be your way of moving through the world, which is way more effective than working on it? So just notice what your body says when I ask you if you'd be willing to play through issues and to play through something that you're wanting to resolve or wanting to open up to. So notice, how can you jumpstart your play? What's a play signal that you could give yourself? So for me, is a play signal. Also, animals have let's come on back to the big group, because I want to share a couple of play signals with you. So animals have, almost always, they'll do a fake attack. So there'll be an attack, but then the head will go off to the side. And so notice, what's a play signal that you can invent? And if you've got one, I love what you're doing, Sabula. So if you see one that somebody else is doing, like, oh, that's one that I could do. But also for yourself, because we get very serious with ourselves. Like, I can't be in the world until I've gotten perfect. And so until I've worked through this thing, or, oh my God, I look terrible today, I can't let other people see me. How could I play with that? So one thing that you can do is to exaggerate the thing that you think is wrong with you. So, putting, like, yeah, I'll do my hair all crazy, or, I'll have, I was sharing with people the other day, I once realized at a workshop in Toronto, at the end of the day, I realized that I had worn my dress sideways all day long. And nobody had said anything about it. So, yeah, right. So let yourself, and if you think of play signals, write a couple of them down. Because when you're in the middle of a serious attack, you'll forget. So, head tilt, making a little, like a pretend attack, like, with babies, we do that with babies. I'm going to get you all the time. Like, I see you, and so also peekaboo, you can play peekaboo with yourself too. Like, oh no, I'm going away. Oh no, I'm not going to come out into the world today. I'm coming back. Okay, I'm coming out. So when you turn something into play, you immediately get more solutions. You immediately get more perspectives. And also, I think it'll be fun for you to challenge the play challenge to people around you. So, like, sometimes I'll just kind of, I'll be standing next to somebody and I'll just kind of nudge them a little bit, like I'll lean into them, like, how's it going? How's it going? Okay. And I just lean into them a little bit. So a lot of these things are nonverbal, or you could have, make a really serious face and then, kind of play with it. We have a whole thing we call stuck face that we've played with for years, where you take something that you're feeling and you exaggerate it, and then you peel it off, and then you send it off to somebody else. So when all the using what's happening in life as a way to advance play rather than to respond to the fear, because it's all wrapped up in fear. But as you're letting yourself play with fear melters, that's what we're really doing, is befriending fear by playing with it. And the introducing play into the world, I consider it kind of my holy task, is to introduce play. And so I invite you all, and at the worst that will happen is that you'll feel great and other people won't get it. So, but at least, you'll feel great. And so that's the most important thing, of course, is how you're feeling. So let me pull up the Present Connect play for today and see what we've got. Also, we did a little repair. I found when I went into the website that is behind Presence Connect play that some of the prompts that wasn't loading from the website, but that's now been corrected. So you can get prompts. You can do Presence Connect play from a tablet. You can do it from an iPad, but from your computer. And so you get all of the videos and the stuff that's behind each one of these. So let's see what our new combination is here. Let's refresh. Yeah, very good. So presence is befriend feelings and be with. So to me, that's kind of the definition of love. So if I'm befriending whatever the feelings that are going on and I'm being with them, like I was telling you about the person that I was sort of nudging and sort of being with, little noogies, when I'm being with, that creates not only presence, but when I'm being with, I'm really practicing love rather than I'm separating myself or I'm trying to improve myself. So, and as I've moved around in the world, I would say that for most people, befriending their feelings is the most challenging. People are scared of their feelings. They're not educated about their feelings. They're taught a lot about how not to feel, but really we're not taught a lot about how actually to be with and befriend our feelings. And so we have, and so that page on the website might be useful if that feels challenging for you. Let yourself go on into the page, and there's a video there, and there's several different suggestions about how you can befriend your feelings. But the basic one, I like to do love scoops with my feelings. So especially if I'm like when Minneapolis happened and all the murders, and I was so upset about that. The only thing that really helped was to give myself love scoops for what I was feeling, and then letting myself notice this is how I am feeling. Also, you can turn that into creative expression. You could journal about it. You could draw. You could put music on. Music is a wonderful way of befriending your feelings. I actually have playlists for different feelings that I used to use when I was doing live trainings, and I'd want people to have, a sense of loving themselves, and the music really assists that. So being with and befriending feelings, because most people, and this is true for fear as well, most people will get the message that they're supposed to be able to control it or stop it, or that it's bad or wrong. That feelings, if we could just manage feelings, everything would be, and that's the whole head body, the head feeling dilemma that's gone on for, millennia. But letting yourself, when you befriend your feelings, you get access to more energy. It's all energy. And when you befriend your feelings, one of the things I notice is that it literally changes my perception. I am more open to giving and receiving love when I'm not trying to manage my feelings. So there's a huge payoff for, and feelings are the language of humans. And when we let ourselves, if people are going to become more like machines, we're going to notice that what drops out is feelings. That people, don't, feelings become, no, I don't know if you're going to get put in prison for having feelings, but I think people do put themselves into their own prison when they don't let themselves feel. So that's a revolutionary thing that we can do. And the big thing with feelings that I've found is that if I notice somebody who's starting to feel something, I immediately let myself feel, like I tune into where that place in me. So if there are tears coming, I acknowledge that with my loop of awareness, but I also encourage them to feel more, because the societal, the exogenous message is stop it, or what's the matter with you that you can't control your feelings in public, for God's sake. So if you encourage people to feel more, that is the most loving thing that you could do. And because feelings will just come through, they're like a rainstorm. They'll come through, but what happens on the heels of that is more aliveness. You have more aliveness, more flow, because all feelings come out of the same faucet. So if you're going to say, no, I'm not going to be angry because I'm not going to do that. So you either get to feel or not feel. And I'm a real advocate for feeling, because that's where all of your creativity and your smarts and your connection, it all comes from the flow of what we call feelings, emotions. So, connect. This is one I really love. Connect is give attention to where others' body or breath is open. So what we almost always notice is where the other person is going to be an obstacle to us. They're, in our way, or there's, they're trying to assert control over us. But if you're noticing where other person's breath or face or their body is open, and you're letting yourself do loop of awareness, it's what we call favoring the opening. It's very radically fun. Because the other person, even though you don't ever have to even say anything, this one it's sort of a stealth opening that you're connecting with. Even just their breath. If you notice that their breath is open, and then you're letting your breath be open, and you let that flow into your loop of awareness, you're connecting at a level that both of you can feel. And my sense is that we're connecting with each other and supporting each other. I consider this my main work right now, is that wherever I am, I'm noticing where can I both, connect and play. Where can I do presence, connect, play? And I also want to emphasize that we're putting these three together. So I'll name them, and then what I'd like you to do this week is to play with them together, because that's where they have really multiplies their power. And play. This is going to be a fun one. So play is mirror the other with your body. So if you do that big, people can think you're making fun of them. But if you do that subtle, where you're like, when you're mirroring, like there's a little tilt and you have a little tilt in some part of your body, that mirroring really lets people feel you being with them. And it also starts the play, because it's a play signal. So what I do, and it's fun for me because I'm always discovering new ways of playing. So someone will be doing, I do this a lot when I'm traveling, and since I haven't been traveling a lot lately, I'll just remember, going through the airport, especially going on the, on the walkways. Someone's going to be going the other direction, and almost always kids. Kids will be going by, and they'll like, a kid will look at me like, and so I just go back them, but I just change it a little bit, and then we have a couple of little interactions as we're going by, and I can hear them giggling as they're heading on down, and so you think, this is a serious thing where people are, life is serious, but I've noticed that people want to play. And so if I give them just the least little opportunity, we can have this little exchange that lets us know, here we are, and we're all going to die, and here we are in this moment, and how can we have presence, connect, play. So the combination of those. So befriending feelings. So there's almost always, when people show up, they've got some feeling going on, even if it doesn't have to be something wrong. There'd be some kind of flow. There might be something that they're excited about. So when you befriend feelings, then you're opening that flow and then giving attention to where the breath or the body is open in others and in you, and making connections from that, and then mirroring what is happening and then taking that a little further. That could be great fun for the whole week, so that you don't have to have a recipe, but the whole intention to presence and then connect and then play. And if one of these drops out, you can pull it back in again. So that can give you a light structure for increasing your ability to give and receive love this week. So that's and it's just in time too, because I'm feeling some phlegm coming on. So it's phlegm, 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 phlegm. So I invite you to stay and play as long as you like, and I look forward to seeing you next time. And thanks for coming out, and thanks for connecting. Just so appreciate our community. Mwah! Until next time. Bye now.